So here we are in the organic hard white wheat, and just taking a look at our development here, and we've got great good rows. It's coming pretty good. I think we got a pretty good stand for sure. We're really going to struggle with this alfalfa. It's just not it did not die when we plowed it. So I think that's going to be a problem. It's going to rob nutrients, it's going to rob moisture, and cause us a lot of trouble. One encouraging thing though is that I am not seeing any weed pressure on it in this part of the field anyway. I did see a little bit in the peas. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe we're pretty well established in our wheat as far as that goes, to the point that I think that we would be safe running the harrow through here. Yikes, maybe not. It doesn't look too good. I'm just trying to simulate action here of what would happen if we ran the fingers through. I don't know. Looks like the wheat would stay pretty good. You know, it does break off some leaves. About the only thing you can do is try it and see what it looks like, what it does. So that might be tomorrow's activity, to get that thing over here and just kind of run it through and disturb the top inch or so. I think that the roller packer that Dad rolled this with must have worked pretty good, I think, for maybe disrupting those tiny little rooted or shallow rooted weeds, because I just don't see anything happening with them. I'm not seeing any weeds at all. So maybe we got lucky with that first little bit. That took care of them. So maybe we'll wait a few days. Maybe we'll try to harrow it and see what happens. Well, at this point you can see the rows of peas, at least, that they are coming. But you can also see the amount of regrowth of alfalfa that we cannot stop. That's going to be a real fun problem when it comes time to harvest, but we'll try. So do what we can, for sure. That's all we can do. The next thing we have is the problems. It looks like maybe some germination on these peas was not so great. That's got pretty good spacing here, pretty good germination right here on these, but those are coming. There's one that didn't do anything. That one started, it looks like, and kind of quit. The peas are in the ground, they're just not, some of those haven't germinated. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is not good. Yay. Okay, farm girl, let's go look at the other field, see what we got. Okay? Okay. Idaho wind again. Apologize for that noise. We've planted a cover crop of barley in the field, my other two fields that I have, and with that we planted alfalfa. we've had really good luck in the past years of doing that. That alfalfa gets really well established, grows really well, and we get a nice crop of alfalfa growing after the grain comes off. So you get two crops. You establish a crop of alfalfa that's ready to go for the next year, so you don't have that bare year where you don't get anything, and you get a crop of grain to harvest, and that really helps on paying bills and whatnot. But the only problem is we're dry. We need a little bit of moisture to help keep this hay alive, since it's such tiny little plants with small roots. So hopefully we'll get a little bit and we'll be in good shape. We can make this work. Planting alfalfa is really expensive to do, and at the cost of that seed and the pounds that you need to make it a viable crop. Anyway, so the idea behind planting the hay with this is that we can, in 3 years, we'll be able to certify organic on this farm if we do everything right, and we can keep going. We don't know what kind of weed pressure we're going to have with that other field, as far as if we can get the rotation right, so that we get the weeds under control and the nutrient management, we're able to keep it where the ground has got good fertility, that we can keep going with organic wheat. That would be great. But if we can't, we'll have to move into organic. And ideally, what would be great is if we grew our market share to the point that we could have we would have a market demand for the amount of grain that we would grow on this farm as well. So here's hoping. You pull the weeds, okay? Can you find them? Man, I thought these peas would be bigger than this by now. Much warm as it's been, and over the last 3 days, 4 days, this last week we've had almost 3/4 of an inch of rain, which for Idaho is pretty, that's quite a bit of rain. We're May 13th, 2018, and we're just looking at the organic wheat and peas, and I had no idea we were going to have such a wreck with the regrowth on alfalfa. I did not know that stuff would just keep regrowing. I figured once you cut that root off and tipped it upside down, it would die, but it is not dying. There's a mess of alfalfa out here. But the one good thing is I'm not seeing the little hairs, the tiny little weed sprouts. So I don't think we have, at this point, I guess there's one right there. That little guy right there. It's going to grow up to be a problem. So I'm just trying to keep an eye on this and decide whether or not we're at a good stage to harrow. I think that we've got this wheat at a stage, it's grown enough, anchored enough that it would probably withstand a set of harrows run across it and not tear it out. It's pretty, seems pretty firmly rooted. So, I plan on doing something like that. Oh, there's a little weed, so if we can come through here and disrupt that weed cycle, I think that'll be a good thing. Weed. And there's a few weeds coming. We finally had, so the question will be what this, we've been fairly dry up until this point, so it'll be interesting to see what we get with the moisture that we've had, if that germinates some weeds. Where we haven't seen any from the previous weed storms or rainstorms, and haven't really seen any weeds coming. I think we're fairly clean, but between the, I don't know, maybe between the ground being so hard and it just doesn't seem like this weed is running away with anything. It's not growing very quickly. Look at a lot of the wheat in the rest of the neighborhood, and it seems like it's a lot further along than this is. So we'll keep an eye on it and check back next week.